Hey everybody, Tony here with another episode of the Battle for Norway 1940. It is now turn 8, May 6th to May 9th, 1940. We are getting closer to the invasion of the West. The Germans have already started withdrawing equipment from the area in order to support that invasion. Before I get going, I want to point out a couple things. In the last turn, I had staged this final 196th Infantry Division headquarters to ship across. But after looking at it, I changed my mind. They're going to be flying across on transports because it's the safest way. And in their place, I'm putting 15 supply depots. Now, if I were actually playing a live opponent, I wouldn't be doing this. But I'm not, so I can cheat. So all of this is going to be shipped over to Oslo. And in the air phase, this is going to be flown into Oslo. The last turn ended with the Norwegians and the Allies on the run. The Norwegians here have decided to make a last stand here. And while they can technically still get out, they are going to tie down some German troops trying to prevent that. This brigade here is pretty much trapped. Although they actually, no, they can't. There is no way to get across there. They are trapped. And again, they're going to tie down forces to keep them from going anywhere and causing any trouble. Over here to the east, and this unit here is still disrupted because it's overstacked. It just can't get it away from anything. But these units here are being pushed closer and closer to the Swedish border, and they're about to a point where they have nowhere to go. The Norwegians currently hold Trondheim, and they hold the Værnes airfield, and basically they're just a delaying force to keep the Germans from getting to the Allies. The Allies, meanwhile, they are having supply issues because of their supply bases constantly being destroyed. They do now have a floating supply base here, and I've got to figure out for these units, I think I said that they have to get back behind the Namsen River, and I've got to figure out a new defensive line for them, and I think that this is going to be it here. And I'm just going to have to rely on British units in the port to hold that. Now, one of the mistakes that I made on the last turn for the Germans is I decided to fly the transports out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I flew them to Andelsnes over here. I flew them to there. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just left them where they were. That way they could fly out to Andelsnes, pick up whatever they may have needed to pick up, and then flown back as soon as I could have gotten something back there. But now that these gladiators are here, that's going to make getting reinforcements in there problematic. So we're going to slide down here. We're going to spread out the 2, 3, we're going to spread this out so that we can see how much supply we can sneak into Oslo. And we will do the first 5. 1, and again, they're sunk only on a 6. 1, 2, sunk. 3, sunk. 4, sunk. 5, 6, and then oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1 for the first row. 2, 3, 4, sunk. 5, and then 1, sunk. 2, 3, 5. So a full 5 out of the 15 have been sunk. And this goes with my argument that the shipping loss to Norway is far higher than it was historically. You know, that's for a 1 in 6 chance of being sunk, that's a full third of the supplies being sunk. I'm just glad that that wasn't actual troops. So let's see, each German unit sunk in transit, so that's 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That puts them up to 30. And now we just delete that. So there are no actually, let's decrease that. Go to here and decrease that. Bergen is still a long ways from being open, although Stavanger is open now. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 198, 196, 181, 196, 198, 63, 181, 214. So this is going to take to the rails, and it can move 20 hexes. It is going to start trying to catch up to the rest of its units over here. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So this is 198, 196, 98, 196. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to try and get the 196th out of here as much as possible. And this actually can't move 20 hexes, can move 16 hexes, so I have to back it up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually there. And I'm actually going to move this one back to here and mark it. But it hasn't moved. So what do we have here? We have one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. It's mostly going to come up here just to deliver some supply. So these can move 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I had to take a bit of a break in order to help bring groceries in. So where was I? See, we're still looking at 196th. Looking at pulling the 196th out. These units to 196, 181, and 196. So we're going to put the 181st, leave the 181st. Now we're going to pull the 181st regiment out, and we're going to put it back where it started. And then we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to block this egress. This northern egress is, I'm going to have to bring somebody down here. Two, three, 4. 1, 2. So I think for the Norwegians, the mountains is probably the best place to be. 181st. I got supply there. 3, 4, 4. So we'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3. So that's 2 movement points. 3, 4. Just double check artillery going through mountains is 2. And their goal is just to come here to just block that off. The 163rd. Oh yeah, that's right, I was down here. So 1, this can move 16 hexes. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They will take over Kristiansand from there. And the 196th, they can move 12 hexes by rail. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. And we have 198th. I think it's the 198th that I was intending on leaving here. One, 2, 3, 4. Move them north. up here, because the thing is going to leave the 181st in this area and the 198 down here, plus sundry. These units really aren't needed. 198. Yeah, 198, 181st. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to be moving this direction to relieve the 181st or the 334th to move up to Bergen. And this is 163. And they are just going to start moving south. So 69th have got to get out of there. 81st, 214, 181, 181. Let's zoom out just a little bit. So these can move 12 hexes by rail. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm going to have the 163rd start forming up here at the 4th mobilization center, and 198. So they can move 8 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're going to be moving to take over at the 7th mobilization center. So much supply in one truck there at Oslo, and no units there. So 1, 2. These can move 16 hexes. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to move them up to Andalsnes to relieve this artillery battalion, because there's really no benefit, since there's only one regiment, surviving regiment from this brigade. There's no advantage for allowing it to absorb. But even though it has a 0 combat strength, or it's a 0 combat strength unit, the Allies still cannot make, well, actually they can. I was going to say that they still can't make opposed landings, but they could make an opposed landing with the landing craft here. But it would be quite the risk, because everything just north of the Namsen River would suddenly be thrown out of supply. So this is a bit of a gamble. Let's see. Who else do I have yet to move down here? Oh yeah, the 214th. They can move 12 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. And the 214th, we're gonna goes down into Oslo. This headquarters can also move 12. 1, 2, 4, 6, and they're going to set up there at the 5th mobilization center. So the tanks can move 20 hexes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and they're going to roll right on in. Well, not him. No. Okay, so unfortunately this map edge thing or this zone edge thing is something that I have not figured out how to defeat yet. And it's proving to be quite troublesome. And there, these two, and then they roll right on into Trondheim. This is the 69th. We're going to start moving the 2nd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2 movement points, 3 movement points. There's more of the 2nd. Let's see, how do we want to do this? The 3rd. The 2nd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, they just do not have enough. So we're gonna reverse the panzers, and we're gonna stop the panzers just outside of Trondheim. Let's see. Let me take a quick rules reference here. So oddly enough, this thing stopped recording when I went to take a rules break. I must have hit a wrong key or something. So based on what I'm reading from the rules, I can move the panzers in here. I can move the 2nd Mountain Division headquarters in there. These units, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can move into there. And these are 3rd Mountain Division. 2, 3, 4, 5. And these 3 are all part of the 2nd Division. They can spend 1 to entrain. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the 2nd Division is now inside of Trondheim, and they are going to be supported by the 69th Infantry Division. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And artillery from the 3rd Mountain Division is going to come in and support. Now, you look at that, and your first impression is going to be, well, that's way overstacked, but it's not. I'll get back to it in a moment. I'm going to take this 1, 2. We're going to interdict this hex side. Interdict that hex side. And move in for the attack there. This is 2, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting off the road is slowing many of these units down dramatically. 14 to 5. We're going to have to whoops. Didn't want 3 of those. So you got to remember that when you have more than one unit highlighted and you issue a command, it will issue that command or execute that command once for every unit that you have highlighted. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I need to interdict that hex side. 214th, 214, 196, 181, 181. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these we can 1, 2, and then 1, 2 entrain, 1, 3, 4. We can start pulling these out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a truck here. 1, 2. And one of the things that has come up in the past is there's always been a question of, can a truck move by rail, which the rules, at least the older rules, do not prohibit that. And then the question was, can they carry supply while being moved by rail? And I personally, I don't see why not. You know, the only way that supply can be moved is by truck or by units carrying it, and it doesn't specifically prohibit units from carrying supply while being moved by rail. So I don't see why trucks would be prohibited. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 214th. So we're going to pull the 214th back here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Dang it. So the 69th, that has already moved. The 69th has not, but I believe, nope. So the 69th headquarters is going to keep heading north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to move this out. We're going to grab one of those. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Then we can exploit there and start heading back. I think everything down here has moved. And these got 4. Okay, so we don't have any mountains here. So that'd be 3 to 1. And then interdict hex side, interdict hex side. And move them in. We're going to make a push to capture that airfield. And then that's it for movement, except I'm going to move these two forward because I forgot to do them on the last turn. But they had always been meant to move up there. So as a result, this supply depot is going to move into Narvik proper. And that is it, although I did neglect to stage more supply. German supply depot. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Close this. Now we go back to Trondheim. And we look at all these units. Second. It is the end of the movement phase. So what the rules state is that 2, 3, the headquarters at the end of the movement phase, it can reabsorb or absorb units, which throws out the idea of moving by rail and absorbing along the way. It has been specifically prohibited. The 11th or 110th Motorized Regiment can't go anywhere right now because it can't pass through the mountains here. So that is 1, 2. Oh, did I remove the wrong unit? No, I did not. He has got to pull out of there because he is overstacked. So he came from here. So he will come here and interdict and continue on and just help with that attack. That came up with some of the second. So and I think he came from there. I think that there was a couple that came from here, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and just say no. So we now have 14 to 5. We need to move to the air phase. Let's go ahead and clear the movement. And we're going to take these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. 11, 12, 13, and they are going to land and deliver the headquarters. I'm going to put them aside so move them over. We're going to check our range here. See. So the dive bombers here can have the range to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have the range to go and bomb that. Question is, what else needs to be bombed? There's not much left in the way of bombers. Actually, I need to, while I'm thinking about it, need to fly this at extended range over to Copenhagen to land there. These are going to land there as well. Ultimately, they're waiting for this to open back up. So this infantry gun is stuck in the mountains now, and it's trapped, or it's blocked off to the south, and it looks like it is blocked off to the north. The only place that it could possibly go is Sweden. Then we have this attack, and this attack. 12, 4, 3 to 1. So I believe that's less than 20 hexes. Let's check the range real quick. There to there is 16. So that is ample range. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So that is 16 hexes. carriers are out of range to intercept. And they're actually out of range to intercept at Narvik. So there's no anti-aircraft. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see. That's 10 and 8. Let's pull up the game chart. So 3 to 6. So we're going to send 10. Okay, so the 5 bombers here are going to be going after the cavalry battalion, and these 4 are going to go for the infantry battalion there. So cavalry battalion first, 5 hits, and then the infantry battalion, 2, 4, 6, 8 misses. But that's okay. So they have a total of 3 there. Gather these all back up. We'll put them there for the moment. Actually, we'll bring them here. So the cavalry battalion is going to attempt to retreat first, and they bug out, and the infantry battalion also bugs out. It's more important to keep them alive. Now, 5th Infantry Brigade can only retreat on a 1, which they do, and they escape into the mountains, or the woods rather. So Trondheim falls, Værnes airfield falls, the 1st Infantry Brigade here can only escape on a 1, and they do not. And then these 2 are going to try, one's going to try to disrupt the artillery brigade, or artillery battalion. The other one's going to do the infantry battalion. So the infantry battalion first. It's a hit. Artillery battalion is a miss. I'd rather have gotten the artillery battalion. But I do need to check something here real quick for the infantry brigade headquarters. Alright, so that is mistaken. Since this headquarters has units absorbed into it, let's just double check. 5th Brigade, it must stand and fight. Whoops. Back there. Now, these units, we're going to go infantry first. This is for retreat, and it cannot. The artillery battalion can retreat, and the headquarters, which does not have any absorbed units, cannot. So the artillery unit escapes up to there. And I think that that is all of the combat. But the artillery is trying to get out. So now we have to take a look at this. So the second division has 28. Slide this over a little bit. It's 28 plus 9 plus 4 equals 41. And the 5th Brigade has 245. Is easily 6 to 1. Plus it's a woods hex. And woods has no effect on combat. And we roll a 6, which is definitely a defender eliminated. So we'll grab that up. German charts. Close this. Grab the 5th there. And they are eliminated. Headquarters is eliminated. And so Trondheim has fallen, Værnes has fallen. And this is what, turn 8? Yes. And so I've always felt that this area has got to fall to the control of the Germans by no later than turn 8 for the Germans to have a shot at getting to Narvik. So this one here is 6 to 1, and we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to expend that. So 6 to 1, a 1. That's not quite a defender eliminated. That is a defender retreats. And so they slip out past the border. And then this one is 14 to 1. Oh, and there is no negative modifier here because it's all mountain troops. Here, there's going to be a -2, 6 to 1 -2. And so that's a 3, that's a half exchange. So that will be, they lose 1 point. German charts. Flip. Flip. Over to there. Move. And we're going to lose an artillery battalion. And we're going to expend that supply depot. But that's another battalion lost. So +1. Let's see, so that's 31. So that is all the combat. Now for exploitation, we're going to move these aside just to 1, 2. And we're going to move the panzers forward And this unit here, and before we do exploitation, it should be 9 here, right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. We're going to send them back to Oslo. And these two we're going to send back to the other side of Oslo. We're going to take these transports and fly them back to their base here. So that's the air return step. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. They are going to drop that, but they can't drop supply until the end of the turn. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to push on any further because these units, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they can't. Well, they can. They can just take the train. But I think that is pretty much it for the German turn. Now it is on to the Allies and figuring out how to get them into supply. Okay, so for this half of the turn, the British are receiving an anti-aircraft battery, an artillery battalion, a tank troop, and they replace a skua, which goes to Hatston Field. And again, it's got to fly its way out. Let me first quickly check range. So this is Hatston Field. So we need to add +1 to this result. So that's 46, 47. So they're just a little out of range. So the skua has got to fly to here first and then to there. Something I think that they might be able to do in one complete turn. So after consulting with the rules, I stand corrected. It cannot fly to this airbase and then fly to the carriers. This is going to be a 2-turn process. So for now, we have to look at our supply situation. So these units here are now in supply. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These units are in supply now. Elite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So these are still out of supply. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is in supply. Yes, and then these units up here are also back into supply. So almost all the Allies are back into supply. But we really have nobody left. So let's see. we're going to take the anti-aircraft and we're going to move it up to Harstad. And then we're going to take the tanks here and move them up to Harstad. And just to give them one more point, I think that we're going to put the British artillery up there at Harstad, and it is completely overstacked right now. But I think we're going to put we're going to move the French back down here to Namsos, and but they cannot move. And the tanks here can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this unit has got to temporarily move out of Harstad just to make room for all of the units there. Well, no, I take it back. They do not. Because the tank troop does not count against stacking. And we have 2 units plus an artillery battery. But again, this is going to delay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to leave the mountain artillery here. And I'm going to bring this in at Namsos. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now the French are ready to attack Narvik next turn. Now, because of the glacier hexide, I believe that glacier is prohibited, so these have to go around. There's a go back here. Is that rough or wooded hex? Wooded rough. It looks like wooded rough. It is not along a road, so wooded rough. Right, mountain unit is 1 movement point, but 1. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sailing off the south end of Narvik. Now the poles are at the limit. And that can move 1 hex only. And these have 2 movement points. And 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fire. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So back that up one. These 1, 2. Three. I don't know that they can move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And that unit there is already in the mountains, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's effectively sealed in there, and I forgot to do Norwegian mobilization, but it is effectively sealed on the Swedish border. Let's do the mobilization real quick. 5 battalions. Turn 8. Column 6. So 14, no. 5, no. 9, no. It's done anyway. 6, no. And the 16th is completely done. So there's 2 more battalions that get raised that are not received. Let's see. That, I think, is probably the best place for them. Total of 3, 6, 12, and 3 is 15. You get 5 to 1 minus 2 if they choose to attack. Then this one's stuck. The only things left to do is to fly the skua out to here, and then we'll take this bomber from Bomber Command and fly it to Stavanger. 2 points, 2 strategic bombing factors, and it misses. At this point, taking this up against those 18 AA points of AA is just suicide, and it would just detract, constantly subtract victory points from the Allies every single turn. So Bomber Command was very effective keeping that airfield shut down as long as they did. They are not going to be able to keep that up, however. But that's pretty much it for the Allies. The Norwegians are still trying to escape or find their way out. Although they are now well behind enemy lines, and the Germans are approaching Namsos. So at this point, let's take a quick look at Namsos, Trondheim and Værnes, Bergen, Stavanger, Kristiansand. Namsos is the last on the list here that the Germans have to capture, and they will have all of southern Norway. Even though technically southern Norway stops here, and this is more central Norway. But they're talking south of that B weather line. Which is right here and runs parallel pretty close to A, and I think that this A may be I don't know if that's the Arctic Circle, but Germany pretty much controls Denmark, pretty much controls all of southern Norway. Have a little ways to go to get central Norway, but they currently control Narvik. But the next turn, the Allies are going to take their shot and see what happens. So, next turn is May 10th, turn 9, May 10th. The invasion of Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and portions of France, as the Germans strike through the Ardennes and catch the Allies completely off guard. With the defeats that they're going to be facing here in the next month or so, month and a half, they definitely need a victory here at Narvik. So, I will talk to y'all soon, and we will see what happens.